As we get closer to the Nintendo Switch 2 launching, more information will be leaking out from various different places when it comes to rumors. So we're going to be going over a report that's been making the rounds here, but I wanted to give my take on it because I think I have something interesting to add. So this is from VGC where I'm reading, but the report is from Vandal online. So Switch 2 reportedly has magnetic Joy-Cons, might not support the existing Joy-Cons on the new ones since they're completely changing the style or type with magnetic instead of rail. So it's also claimed that the current Pro controller will be compatible with the new console. So new details about Nintendo Switch's successor have reportedly surfaced. Long-running Spanish video game website Vandal claims to have received information about the console from sources at peripheral manufacturers. According to the site, Switch 2's Joy-Con controllers will attach to the console magnetically, as current Joy-Cons connect to the Switch using a rail system. It's unclear if they'll be forward compatible with the new console. The existing Nintendo Switch Pro controller will work with the Nintendo Switch 2, it is claimed. And it's also worth noting that prior to the Nintendo Switch's OLED reveal in 2021, Vandal accurately reported on some of the console's features, such as the inclusion of a new stand and Ethernet port. VGC reported in February that Nintendo had internally delayed the launch of the next-gen console from this year, 2024, to early 2025. One publishing source suggested the delay was so they could prepare stronger first-party software for the console, while others have claimed the move was made to avoid potential hardware supply issues. VGC also reported last summer the development kits for the Nintendo Switch 2 were in the hands of key partner studios. Two sources VGC spoke with at the time suggested that the console could launch with an LCD screen instead of the more premium OLED in order to bring down costs, especially considering the increased storage needed for higher fidelity games. So all of this kind of ties into what we've been hearing a bit with the Nintendo Switch 2. They're going to be using a different type of management system with the Joy-Cons. So for those who don't know, or if you just don't really care about that type of thing, the rail system, you take the Nintendo Switch Joy-Con, you go from the top and you slide it down in order for it to lock into place and you can play your games. This one would be more of a magnetic strip. So you have like these two or however many more magnetic things on each side. You kind of put it together, it kind of attracts to it, and then it clips in. There'll probably be little things to where it clips in and it holds and locks it in that type of place. So it's going to be a little bit better, I would say, if they are able to nail the design of that. That's definitely going to be a bit better than the rail system that they're using. Obviously, a bit more expensive to manufacture as well. So I'm interested in seeing exactly what they do with the Joy-Cons. Now, it's also being reported that the Nintendo Switch 2 is a bit larger than the Nintendo Switch, but far smaller than the Steam Deck, for example. Steam Deck OLED. So that's definitely a good thing because the Steam Deck is way too big, and I have pretty big hands, and I think that the Steam Deck is way too big. I have a Steam Deck OLED, and I feel that that thing is just super bulky. I've held on to like the ROG Ally and some of these other systems, and those systems are just too big and too bulky. So if Nintendo can still somehow make the Joy-Cons with this magnetic thing more ergonomic and a bit more comfortable to hold over the standard Joy-Cons, yet still be smaller than all of these massive PC systems, handheld systems that are coming out, then that is absolutely a win-win. So I definitely think that this is something that we're going to start getting way more information on overall, like with the rumors and with other things that are going to be coming out. But I also feel that Nintendo is preparing, and that's why I think I can add a little bit of a unique spin to this because I've been covering the launches now. This is my third Nintendo launch. If you look at the Wii U launch, you look at the Nintendo Switch launch, now you're looking at the Switch 2 launch. The one thing that you can look at, you can take back, and Nintendo's probably thinking about is that yes, if we have that big killer app, we can do well. However, now that we've already set the expectations for what a Nintendo first party type of lineup can be like for a year, we have to continue that. That's where in the past, cocky Nintendo probably would have said, okay, we can have a big Mario game at launch and maybe there's a drought of software. We'll be okay. We'll just do it based off of a reputation and we'll have a little bit of third party here and there. It's like, no, you've got to have that same mentality, that same hungry mentality that you had with the Nintendo Switch coming off the Wii U and the Nintendo 3DS, which also had a rough time launching with the Nintendo 3DS. You have to have that that same mentality that you have here. You cannot go into it saying, okay, we're already popular like they were with the Wii to the Wii U and just expect people to buy it. Absolutely not. So if they are delaying it, to make sure that they have more systems and to make sure that they have the best lineup of games for the year, then that is an absolutely smart move. And I think that's exactly what's happening. Not only do you want to have enough systems, because yes, you do have a popular brand now. Your brand is as popular as it's ever been, but you also need to make sure that you have the games, because that's what people are going to be expecting. Everyone's talking about how, oh, the Switch launched with The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, with ARMS, with Splatoon, all coming out within back to back to back to back, all right there. Mario plus Rabbids, like you had a bunch of games, and then you finished off the year with Xenoblade Chronicles and Fire Emblem Warriors and Super Mario Odyssey. You've got to make sure that you have those big hitters. And in order to get that done, you're going to need time. You're going to need time. You're going to need a lot of money. You're going to need the effort, and you're going to have the systems so people can buy the games if you have that lineup ready. Nintendo could possibly have, honestly, they could possibly have here a big Mario Kart game ready, a big new 3D Mario game ready. You're probably going to have some people buying Metroid Prime 4 on there as well when it comes to maybe cross-gen or just wanting to play it with better resolution or frame rate or whatever the case is. You probably could have maybe a Donkey Kong game on there as well. There are a number of big titles that are set to potentially be in that first calendar year for the Nintendo Switch 2. Maybe there's a brand new Monolith Soft title that's going to be revealed that could launch by the end of next year or early the following year. You've got to have units ready. So I think that's what's taking so long, and I feel that is the best way to go. Get that done, because I've been around for the other launches. I was around and covering things even with the Nintendo 3DS in its early stages, and it was tough, man. There was not a lot of stuff to play. People were upset. The price was too high, and people didn't feel it was worth the $250 that they were trying to charge at the beginning. So Nintendo was forced, because of the bad sales, to drop the price, and then they had to come in with the games like Mario Kart 7, in addition to Kingdom Hearts, that was a third-party game, and then Super Mario 3D Land. So don't make that same mistake. You can charge more for this system, because I'm guessing that it's going to be $399.99 based off of the tech, the DLSS, and all of that good stuff. So based off of that, I'm guessing that it's going to be $399, and that's okay. You can sell a system at $399 because they sold a Switch OLED at $350 when people were trying to say they can't sell it at that price because the Xbox Series S is not more than that. But they smoked the Xbox Series S and the Xbox Series X in sales. So to them, it's about the games. It's about the games, and people will buy it, but you've got to have that strong lineup. So I think that's what's happening right now with the Nintendo Switch 2. And I think that perspective, in terms of what I told you guys, is going to be what happens with this system when they finally reveal it sometime in 2024. It's probably going to be a fall reveal. Early next year, we're probably going to get the same presentation that we get, something like that, and then it's probably going to launch sometime in that first quarter of 2025 and have a solid lineup of games for people to check out. And I would think this, way more third-party support coming out throughout the year than what we saw with the Nintendo Switch, even though it wasn't bad. We had Doom, we had Skyrim, we had other type of games that come out, Resident Evil. There was a number of third-party games, but I think that with the Nintendo Switch 2, there's going to be a bit more, especially when it comes to the Japanese RPGs from Atlas, things like that. So we'll see what Nintendo has in store, but I'm excited to report on more stuff once we actually get, more solid rumors, not just anything that comes up on the internet like some people report on. But let's go ahead and let's jump into the next thing here, guys. We've got Hunter Nen Impact. I want to talk about this because this game has been officially revealed with its first trailer. Before, we just got a little bit of a teaser that didn't really show any gameplay, but now we actually have a first trailer and gameplay for it. And this has divided fans online of the show and fighting game fans. And really, it's not because the game, in terms of the mechanics or anything, look bad. You guys are seeing it, but it's because of the graphics in the game. Remember, this is Aiding. Aiding is the same developer who made Clash of Ninja, for example. That was not a graphical beast, although they did the best with what they could with the GameCube and the Wii. They also made Marvel vs. Capcom 3 as well. So this is a developer that has had a lot of experience developing in support and developing games, but this is the first time in a very long time that they are the lead on a major IP fighting game. Hunter x Hunter is their biggest project they've worked on when it comes to them taking the reins and being the force behind the mechanics and the system and the game itself. Hunter x Hunter is the first one in a long time, since Naruto. So it's been a long time, And obviously the graphics are not final. The graphics are not final. This is still a game that's still in development. We do not have a release date yet. We don't know exactly when the game is coming out, but right now we've got an early build that they're showing off, the first trailer, and then it'll probably launch later in the year or early 2025. But I like the fact that they're actually showing us the game. It looks like Hunter x Hunter Marvel vs. Capcom edition. Like, that's what it looks like. It looks like Marvel vs. Capcom 3, and they pretty much just put in Hunter x Hunter characters, but you've got all of the great fighting game mechanics that you would expect from a top tier 2D fighting game. Now you have to really just do the balance. You have to do the balance and all that, but you got the 3-on-3 system, you got the tagging in and out, you've got the good footsies, you've got the corner traps, you've got the assists, you've got all the things that you would want in a great fighting game, and that's why I was excited about Aiding taking over for a Hunter x Hunter game, because it's not just another run-of-the-mill arena fighter where you're just mashing one button with pretty much no footsies, no anything. It's the same arena fighters that we've been playing for the longest time without much depth, and this looks like it's going to have a ton of it. You can see a lot of different traps and setups and things that are going on. The only issue, literally the only issue, is the graphics, but it's not done yet though, right? It's not done yet. I like the graphics in terms of the art and the style that they have in the menus and all that. That looks really good, kind of like the pencil drawn, the thick lines, and if they can find a way to transfer that over to the graphics a bit more, that would be good, because right now it looks like a very early, PlayStation 3 game or something like that, or a very high res PlayStation 2 game. A bit better than that, obviously, but that's kind of where it is right now. So to me, the gameplay looks solid. The gameplay looks very fun. This is a game that I'd actually want to play, an anime game that I'd actually want to play and get better. Now we need to know about the netcode. We need to know about the features, the modes, the single player stuff. All of that stuff needs to be rounded out, and Aiding probably doesn't have the biggest budget or the most time to get it done. Now I did do some research on Bushiroad Games, who is the publisher of it, and that's a pretty big entity. They've got plenty of money in all of that, but they also work on mobile games. They are a mobile game publisher slash developer, so they're looking for return on investment. They're looking to not necessarily make the biggest investments into games, but yet have high profit leveraging the fan base. So it's one of those things to where it's going to be interesting to see exactly how much more time they get and how much more polish they can put on the graphics, because mechanically it's set. It's good. You've got a good cast that they've shown so far in terms of mechanics. I don't know how many characters. It looks like they're going to have about 16 characters, but it's a 3-on-3 game, so it's a little bit uneven. So maybe they'll show off a few more, but the character slots, that's how much there was. So I'm looking forward to seeing exactly how this goes. But this could turn out to really be a tie. Like, if this game is supported and if this game is good and the netcode is solid, and this is on Nintendo Switch, this is on PlayStation, it's on PC, so it's going to be on a number of platforms. And if people actually pick it up and give it a chance, I think this can change how a lot of publishers see what games should be coming out for anime. And it's not just going to be arena fighter after arena fighter and disaster after disaster. Look at Jump Force. Look at the Jujutsu Kaisen Cursed Clash. Look at some of these games. That game had 100,000 refunds. The JJK game had 100,000 refunds. Like, within the first 24 hours of the game, people were just refunding it like crazy. And that's the hottest anime around right now, or at least one of the hottest anime. So hopefully Hunter x Hunter, an anime that's not necessarily as big, but it still has a very sizable fan base. Hopefully people go out there and support it. And also fighting game fans. I saw that Maximilian Dude was covering the game and other big fighting game players were covering it. So that's what we need right now. That's what we need. We need honest opinions on it. Obviously you can say about the graphics or whatever, but we also need people covering the game, taking a look at it and everything. So that's what I like to see so far. So keep that up to all the people that are covering the game. And of course, keep up here on PlayerEssence. We will continue to cover Hunter x Hunter Nen Impact, because I'm a huge Hunter x Hunter fan, obviously, and I'm looking forward to this maybe changing the narrative when it comes to anime games, to where some bigger publishers can put some more money into the new anime fighting games, or even make an anime RPG, right? Like stuff like that. Make a good one, like we saw with One Piece. They did a great job with that game. So what do you guys think? You can let me know in the comment section. But speaking of games on the Nintendo Switch, let's talk about Biomutant. This is one of those, I wouldn't say impossible ports, but one of those ports from the Xbox and PlayStation that people necessarily didn't expect because of the size of the game. But we have a brand new trailer. We've also got footage as well, gameplay footage. So I'm looking at the trailer so far, and it looks pretty good. I mean, I thought that the game looked kind of weird when I first saw it, because you're playing as some type of like lab mutant mutt thing put together. I'm not really sure what it is. You're some type of animal, and I don't necessarily love playing as different animals in games. Looks like accompanied by somebody else, like let's say Fallout with the dog meat, and you have your human character, or even like The Legend of Zelda where you transform and then Midna's there. So I'm not huge on that. Okami's really good though, but Okami didn't do so well. But yeah, this game looks a little bit weird, but they're showing off the trailer here. Yeah, you can tell that it's definitely been a bit, when it comes to the graphics, been pared down a lot from what we've seen on the Xbox and PlayStation. Like the graphics look way more flat and everything, but I think that's in order to make sure that the game can actually run. I'm also looking at the footage of the game too. We have actual raw gameplay footage captured on the Nintendo Switch, and it shows that, yeah, I mean, it looks solid enough for the Switch. He's fighting a big boss here, or a big enemy here, and just looks okay. Just looks okay for what they're trying to do with a huge open world game, and it looks like it's running smooth enough overall. And that's what you want at the end of the day. Like some of the bad ports on the Nintendo Switch, they just don't run very good at all, and it's not optimized for the platform. It looks like they did take some time to optimize it. This is an open world action RPG, like where you can salvage and get experience and level up and do all different type of skills and all of that. So I don't know if it's going to do very well on the Switch. I think it's going to be based on obviously the price, in addition to just what people feel like playing. The release date as well, we need to wait and see for that. So the release date is going to be on May 14th. There we go. So May 14th, you can pre-order it right now if you want to. But yeah, we'll see how it does. There's not really much coming out on May 14th or in that area. We do have the Endless Ocean game, and we have Paper Mario, which is coming out a little bit after that. That's the 23rd. So maybe they might find an audience for this game. But overall, yeah, not so bad based off of what I'm seeing here, but definitely not my type of RPG or game to play. So what do you guys think overall with Biomutant? You can let me know in the comment section. And last but definitely not least, we've got a brand new trailer for a really cool action RPG called Reynatis. This game has been confirmed 100% for the Western territory, but in Japan, it will be dropping way sooner than that, July 25th in Japan. So publisher Furyu and developer Natsumi Atari have released a second official trailer for the dark action RPG Reynatis. So Reynatis is an action RPG set in the painstakingly recreated streets of Shibuya, Tokyo, in a world where fantasy meets reality. The citizens of Shibuya fear magic and the power it holds, forcing wizards to conceal their inhuman abilities or face oppression. Seeking freedom through strength, the wizard Marin heads to Shibuya, where he meets Sari, an officer of the MEA, an organization dedicated to keeping wizards under control. Conceal your magic to explore the city as a regular civilian and shop or take on quests, or use your explosive powers to reach new locations and battle those who stand in your way. Fight for what you believe in this stylish, spellbinding RPG from director Takumi and featuring music by Yoko Shimomura. Now that's really a nice dream team there for a big AA RPG. The key features are freedom versus order. The wizard Marin and the officer Sari stand on opposite sides of a conflict that will shake the world to its core. Experience an enthralling story that tackles oppression, clashing ideals, and the price of freedom. City of Secrets. Navigate the streets of Shibuya and choose between remaining concealed to talk to civilians, shop, and accept quests, or exposing your true self to harness your inhuman powers. Your journey also will take you into the alternate world of Another, a fantasy land teeming with ferocious monsters and secrets to uncover. Might and magic freely swap between using evasive maneuvers in suppressed mode and utilizing magic to deal explosive damage in liberated mode. Each of the 6 different playable characters has their own unique abilities, from summoning to aerial attacks. Reynatis is due out for the PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, and Nintendo Switch on July 25th in Japan, followed by the PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Switch, and PC via Steam this fall in the West, and NIS America is handling the publishing duties. So yeah, we still got some big RPGs coming out to the Nintendo Switch, whether it's some ports or whether it's going to be fighting games, different type of stuff here. It's interesting to still see the Nintendo Switch kicking at this point, but Switch 2 is creeping up, it's creeping up right then and there. So it's going to start getting a bit more exciting with the news. I'm going to start covering a lot more things as well as we move into the middle of the year and what Nintendo's going to do next. So what are your thoughts on everything that we discussed here, guys, when it comes to Switch 2, when it comes to Hunter x Hunter, Biomutant, Reynatis, all the different information and news and games? What do you plan on picking up here? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click that notification bell, and check out more of our videos right here on screen. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you for the next one. Peace.